I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. Covering the WNBA as of late has become more like a chore than it is something enjoyable for me because we haven't been able to talk about hoops, like talk about basketball, talk about teams and free agency, all of those things because of these CBA negotiations. And honestly, I kind of feel like a broken record updating you on the CBA thing.
That exhaustion you just heard? That's not coming from a casual observer. That's coming from someone who covers this league day in and day out. And when the people whose job it is to make the WNBA exciting can't find the energy to care anymore, we've got a serious problem. Because here's what nobody's talking about. The WNBA's biggest crisis isn't the CBA negotiations. It's that the players themselves are acting like they don't need the league to exist.
I'm going to start with the breaking news of the day, and that is the fact that two-time EuroLeague women champion Breanna Stewart will play for Fenerbahce in the 2026 EuroLeague Women Final Six, the team announced. WNBA training camp currently begins on April 19th, the same day as the EuroLeague Final. So Breanna Stewart is supposedly going to play from April 15th to April 19th. Now, this is after the unrivaled season, but like they said here, training camp for the WNBA season.
February 17th, 2025. Breanna Stewart signs with Fenerbahce to play in the EuroLeague Women Final Six, April 15th through 19th. And here's the kicker. WNBA training camp starts April 19th, the exact same day as the EuroLeague Final. Now let's be crystal clear about what this means. Breanna Stewart co-founded Unrivaled specifically so WNBA players wouldn't have to go overseas during the offseason. That was literally the entire pitch. Stay in America, make good money, don't risk injuries abroad. And now she's going to Turkey anyway. But the Turkey trip isn't even the real story here. Watch what happens when you zoom out and look at the pattern that's been building since December.
It's kind of similar to NBA All-Star, and stick with me. NBA All-Star, a lot of fans weren't caring about it the last few years because it felt like the players weren't caring about it. They were going out there, they weren't playing with a whole lot of intensity, they weren't putting on the greatest show in the world, yet it was supposed to be the greatest players in the world, so fans started to not care about it. They didn't care about it because they're like, how can we care about it if the players themselves don't care about it? That's how it's starting to feel with the WNBA as well, and I think a lot of fans are with me on this. It's like, why should we care so much about the season starting on time or about actually having a 2026 season if it seems like the people at the table also...
The NBA All-Star comparison is dead on accurate. For years, fans stopped caring about the All-Star game because the players clearly didn't care. They weren't trying, they weren't competing, and fans rightfully asked, why should we invest our time and energy into something the players themselves treat as a joke? That's exactly where we are with the WNBA right now. The CBA negotiations have been dragging since November 2024. We're now in mid-February 2025. Training camp is supposed to start in 2 months, and the players' negotiating committee keeps making moves that scream, we have other options, we don't really need this league. December 2024, major CBA meeting scheduled. Some of the biggest names don't show up. Breanna Stewart's excuse? She had unrivaled obligations. Think about that. The co-founder of a league that only exists because of WNBA players chose to skip critical negotiations about the WNBA's future because she needed to play in her own league.
All of this, like if the players are like, hey, we can go play in other leagues if the W doesn't have a season, why would I as a fan care? If they don't care and they're like, we can just go play in Unrivaled. Unrivaled is ready. They're setting it up so we can go play there, or we have Project B, or we can play overseas. Like, why would I be so invested in the W if the people who are actually in the W don't care as much? I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but do you guys get what I'm saying? And that's kind of why I'm just like, let me know if there's a season. I would love to cover back.
This is the core issue that's tearing apart the league's relationship with its fans. And it's not about being anti-player. It's about basic logic. If Breanna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, and the other players on the negotiating committee are publicly demonstrating that they have unrivaled, they have overseas options, they have Plan B, Plan C, and Plan D lined up, then why would fans panic about whether the WNBA season happens? The players are essentially negotiating from a position of, we don't need you as much as you need us, which might be true for the top 15 players in the league. But here's what they're forgetting. There are 144 roster spots in the WNBA. The vast majority of those players absolutely need the league to exist. They're not getting unrivaled contracts. They're not getting six-figure overseas deals. They need the WNBA season to happen. But the public face of these negotiations is the players who have all the leverage acting like they're willing to blow it all up.
Valentine's Day was this past weekend, and the WNBPA posted, "Roses are red, violets are blue. We love a proposal that values players too." It's funny because I would expect this. Like, everybody who's so shocked that they would put something out like this, like, why are you shocked? This is the WNBA. The WNBPA has done this for the past 6 to 8 months. Like, why would you expect something different? Like, you're actually the crazy one if you expected something different. This has kind of been their ammo throughout all of it. Do I think it's professional? No. Do I think it moves the conversation forward at all? No. But like, that's just kind of been what they do. So they did it again on Valentine's.
February 14th, 2025, Valentine's Day. The WNBPA posts on Instagram, "Roses are red, violets are blue. We love a proposal that values players too." Followed by, "This situationship has gone on for too long and maybe it's time to make it official." Cute wordplay, terrible strategy, because here's what that post communicates to the average fan. We're still playing social media games instead of negotiating seriously. We're posting snarky content instead of getting a deal done. We're treating a labor dispute like it's relationship drama on reality TV. And that reality TV comparison, that's not an exaggeration anymore. Think about what we've been covering for the past 4 months. It's not basketball. It's not free agency analysis. It's not breaking down roster construction or coaching changes. It's inflatable rats outside league offices. It's clapback Instagram posts. It's players trashing the league publicly while simultaneously demanding more money from that same league.
Weekend, Commissioner Adam Silver, he said we're getting awfully close to the 11th hour when it comes to bargaining. And he also said that he's not ready to set a drop dead date. But what I'd love to accomplish is putting pressure on everybody. And when he was asked about it, there was no optimism in his response. Like, it seems like he has been hearing what's going on.
Adam Silver spoke during NBA All-Star Weekend, February 16th, 2025. His exact words, "We're getting awfully close to the 11th hour when it comes to bargaining." And when reporters pressed him on whether he was optimistic, there was nothing in his response that suggested confidence, no reassurance. No, we're close to a deal. Just acknowledgement that time is running out. Now, some people want Adam Silver to step in and fix this, but let's be realistic about what his job actually is. He's the NBA commissioner. He oversees the WNBA, yes. But the NBA is expanding globally, managing its own CBA, dealing with media rights worth billions, handling player discipline, navigating international relations with China. The WNBA is a small piece of a massive operation. Should he be more involved? Maybe. But the expectation that he's going to personally negotiate the WNBA's CBA while running the NBA is unrealistic. Kathy Engelbert is the WNBA commissioner. This is her job, and right now, both sides seem perfectly content to let the deadline approach without blinking.
I would be shocked if it started on time. I truly would. But that's coming from Adam Silver. Like, there has been no movement in the CBA. I am starting to not care. Like, let me know if there's a season. I would love to cover basketball. I would love to cover what all of these players are doing on the court. I guess you could say I'm a WNBA, NBA purist. Like, I firmly believe that WNBA basketball is the best basketball on the planet. I'm not interested in seeing a bunch of other things. Like, you can even talk about college basketball, incredible basketball, but if you want to watch every single game that South Carolina is playing, there's going to be some games that's a really close game and they have hard opponents on their schedule for maybe 5 or 6 games out of the regular season. The rest of the year, they're blowing out teams by 60. So if you want to talk about good competition every day on the court, it's the WNBA. That's where the best players are in the world. I don't want to cover Fenerbahce. I don't want to cover Brianna Stewart playing in Turkey. I want to cover Brianna Stewart playing for the New York Liberty. I want to cover Team USA basketball. Like, I want to cover the Olympics. I want to cover the WNBA All-Star. I want to cover what these players are doing on the court. I have maxed out my
Here's the part that's getting lost in all the noise. The actual basketball is incredible. WNBA basketball is the highest level of women's basketball on the planet. That's not opinion, that's fact. The best players in the world are in the WNBA. The competition is elite. The games matter. College basketball is fun, but South Carolina plays maybe 5 competitive games all season. They blow out everyone else by 40 points. That's not compelling if you want to watch great basketball every night. Overseas leagues have talent, but the depth isn't there. The competition level drops off dramatically after the top few teams. The WNBA is where you get Caitlin Clark versus Sabrina Ionescu, Aja Wilson dominating in the paint, Brianna Stewart's complete offensive game, Paige Bucher's about to enter the league. That's what fans want to see. That's what media members want to cover. But instead, we're talking about CBA negotiations that have no end in sight. We're analyzing Instagram posts. We're debating whether players skipping meetings is a power move or a strategic mistake. We're covering Breanna Stewart signing with a Turkish team for 4 days instead of covering her preparing for another WNBA championship run. So let's break down exactly what's at stake here and why this matters beyond just the 2025 season. Because the damage being done right now isn't just about whether games start on time in May. It's about the long-term credibility of the league with the fan base that exploded in 2024. Last season was a turning point. Caitlin Clark's rookie year brought unprecedented attention. Average attendance jumped 48% compared to 2023. Multiple games drew over 3.2 million viewers on national television. The Indiana Fever went from playing in front of half-empty arenas to selling out every game. Charter flights became standard. Expansion teams in Golden State, Toronto, and Portland were announced. The WNBA was finally breaking through. And now, 6 months later, we might not have a season. Or we might have a season that starts late, disrupts the Olympic preparation schedule, and feels thrown together at the last minute. All because the two sides can't agree on revenue sharing percentages and salary structures. Here's what the players want, based on public statements. 50-50 revenue split similar to the NBA, elimination of the salary cap or massive increases to it, full guaranteed contracts, better travel accommodations, and more control over marketing and licensing. Those aren't unreasonable asks given the league's growth. Revenue increased substantially in 2024. Sponsorship deals multiplied. The new media rights deal is significantly larger than the previous one. But here's the league's position. We're still not profitable as a league. Individual teams are losing money. The revenue spike in 2024 was largely driven by one player, and we don't know if that's sustainable. We can't commit to NBA-style splits when our financial model is completely different. We need to see multiple years of growth before we restructure everything. Both sides have valid points. But neither side is negotiating like they're worried about losing fan support. And that's the critical mistake. The fans who started watching in 2024 because of Caitlin Clark aren't WNBA diehards yet. They're casual fans who got interested because of the hype, stayed because the basketball was good, and are now watching this CBA disaster unfold. And the message they're receiving is clear. This league isn't stable. The players don't prioritize it. The owners won't invest properly. Maybe I should just watch something else. That's catastrophic for long-term growth. You can't build a fan base when your league might not exist from year to year. You can't sell season tickets when training camp might get delayed indefinitely. You can't convince sponsors to invest when the product might not be available. And here's the thing about Breanna Stewart going to Turkey for 4 days. It's not about those 4 days. It's about what it signals. It signals that even the co-founder of Unrivaled, even one of the league's biggest stars, even someone who's supposed to be at the negotiating table fighting for the WNBA's future, has other priorities. She's got Unrivaled locked in. She's got overseas options. She's got her Nike deal. She'll be fine whether the WNBA season happens or not. But what about the fans in New York who bought Liberty season tickets expecting to watch her defend a championship? What about the young girls who idolize her and want to see her play? What about the media members who built their careers covering this league and now don't know what they're covering? The NBA All-Star comparison keeps coming back because it's so accurate. The NBA fixed their All-Star game by changing the format and adding real stakes. Players started trying again because there were consequences for not trying. Fans came back because the product improved. The WNBA needs a similar wake-up call. Both sides need to recognize that they're damaging something that was finally gaining real momentum. The 2024 season proved the audience is there. The interest is real. The commercial viability is possible, but only if the league actually exists and the players actually prioritize it. Right now, we're watching both sides play chicken with the future of the league. The owners think the players will cave because most of them need the paychecks. The players think the owners will cave because they just invested in expansion teams and can't afford to lose the momentum from 2024. And meanwhile, the fans who just discovered this league are watching this dysfunction and wondering why they should care. So here's the question that matters. If the season gets canceled or significantly delayed, who loses more? The top 15 players have other options. They'll play in Unrivaled, go overseas, do camps and clinics, maintain their endorsement deals. The owners will lose money, but most of them are billionaires who own these teams as passion projects, not primary investments. The people who lose the most are the mid-tier and bottom roster players who need the league to exist, the fans who finally found a product they love, and the media members and support staff whose livelihoods depend on the WNBA operating. Those are the people being ignored while both sides play hardball. March is when this gets real. If there's no deal by mid-March, training camps will have to be delayed, If camps are delayed, the season opener gets pushed back. If the season gets pushed back, it conflicts with Olympic preparation. If it conflicts with the Olympics, you're looking at either a shortened season or no season at all. We're 5 weeks away from that deadline, and there's no indication either side is close to compromising. So what should fans do? That's the tough part. You can't force a CBA deal to happen. You can't make the players prioritize the league. You can't make the owners agree to revenue splits they think are unsustainable. All you can do is decide whether you're going to stay invested in a league that might not exist, or whether you're going to spend your time and money on something more stable. And that's the tragedy of this whole situation. The WNBA finally broke through, finally got mainstream attention, finally proved it could draw crowds and ratings. And now it might squander all of that because neither side is willing to compromise until it's too late. The basketball is incredible. The players are talented. The storylines are compelling. But none of that matters if there's no season to play. So yeah, covering the WNBA has become a chore. Not because the basketball isn't great, but because we can't talk about basketball when the league itself might not exist. Let me know in the comments. Are you still invested in whether this season happens? Or have you checked out until there's actually